Dear students, good morning. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 17th August 2020. The first article for discussion is Adversity has mellowed the leader. The next is Big Goals. So, both of these articles provide a kind of critical analysis to yesterday's PM's Independence Day address. The first article, that is Adversity has mellowed the leader, emphasizes that people of India now need a strong reassurance from the leader, that is Prime Minister of this country. You know, India is in the midst of this COVID 19 crisis and facing never before seen economic and health challenge. In this context, the Prime Minister and the government is expected to put before the nation a plan to tackle this situation. Then only everyone can be assured and remain confident. Developing collective confidence in the public is the need of the hour to fight this pandemic. And also, PM understood that more action is required than rhetoric. It is clearly visible in his address. There is no mention of death of Nehruvian Republic, or there is no mention of jingoistic talk related to China or Pakistan. The Prime Minister over investment in personal summit diplomacy with Xi Jinping. You can remember Wuhan Spirit, Chennai Connect, etc. These have led to, or these have helped the Chinese to size him up. So the Galvan incident can be criticized as an incident to size up the Prime Minister. The second, Atmanirbhar Bharat is expected to lift up the spirits of middle class. You know that middle class is very aspirational and it can provide the necessary resources and talent to the nation to build a self-reliant India. That is where Prime Minister is pitching for. And next, Prime Minister also has mentioned about menstrual hygiene, sanitary napkins to be delivered through our Aushadhi shops, Jan Aushadhi shops, and sanitation, drinking water, everything. It means the day to day stigma associated with many things the Prime Minister tried to address from the Red Fort. This has to be applauded. They are expected to bring in a great change in the mindset of the people. Self reliance, vocal for local, make in India to make for the world. These are all bold rhetoric. It has been repeated again this year. The National Digital Health Mission, it is been announced anew. Everyone is going to get a National Health ID through which they can track their entire medical history. But see, the problem in India is lack of sufficient infrastructure, especially primary and preventive healthcare infrastructure and skilled medical professionals. So, providing a technical solution to a human problem is kind of a quick fix. And the need of the hour is to strengthen our primary healthcare capabilities and build our human resources. Next is government is talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat like never before. See, one way government wants to connect with global world, develop global partnerships. If you see last year's economic survey, India has to be an important player in global value chains. And example of China is quoted. And second way, India wants to have an import substitution kind of policy. So it means these two are contradictory. So then the government has to make a very tightrope walk between this import substitution, which is in the name of self-reliance, on the other side, becoming an active partner in global value chains and building the global partnerships for economy. The next article is Centrality of Devolution in Development. This article is written in the context of Sri Lankan elections. You know that in Sri Lanka, Mr. Rajapaksa's party SLPP got two-third majority in parliamentary elections. And second, in North and East provinces, Tamil dominant provinces, the Tamil National Alliance lost the seats and other rightist parties have won. The surprising fact is the party which is supporting the Sinhala nationalist SLPP has got the seats compared to TNA. How it can be reflected? The Tamil people wants to develop patronage connections with Sinhala majority parties. These patronage connections can help them to provide for developmental progress. So, keeping themselves isolated from the central government is not doing any good. This is the stern message which they wanted to send. The TNA wanted to bring in political progress but ignored the economic progress. Vigneshwaran, who was the province head before, he failed to deliver on the promises, and added to that the bigger failure of Sri Lankan Freedom Party and the Vikram Singh's party. This has got lot of thing to do with the present election results. So, the TNA is dominated by Tamil elites focused on political reforms rather than economic well being. So, today, the Tamil community, what it wants is to come out of this livelihood distress. By voting for Rajapaksa SLPP, they want to send a message that their economic interests also need to be given a priority. But remember carefully, political empowerment and economic progress, they cannot be separated and seen in silos. Unless citizens have voice and agency in determining their priorities for development, no real change is expected to come. In India, also, when I talk about the local government, I say it to the people like this: political empowerment and development, these cannot be dissociated from each other. Many of our state governments talk about development, dissociating themselves from the devolution of powers to local government. Then it is kind of a shell without substance. So, without giving agency to the people, no accountability can be established. Development devoid of accountability is expected to create more damage and loss of trust and deviant development rather than people centric, people felt development. This is what the nutshell is. In this case, devolving the political power is central to build local institutions of accountability which are meant for development. That is the carry home point. Again, I am stressing here: political empowerment, economic progress, development. These cannot be separated from each other. A people felt development is the real development. Remember those points. The next article is the cost of stifling voices lapsing into contempt. These both are related to contempt of court. Remember one thing, the most important thing in this article, A.O. Hirschman, he wrote a book that is called Exit, Voice and Loyalty. In this book, Hirschman, what he says is, exit and voice are the two instruments to repair societal and political institutions. Remember the words exit, voice. Then what is exit? Let's take. When you don't like one mobile connection, if you are shifting to other mobile connection, that is nothing but exit. When an employee do not like one company and he is shifting to another company that offers him a better package, that is also an example for exit. You moved from Kukatpalli locality to Jubilee Hills locality, that is also an exit. So exit means you are getting away from one particular service provider or one particular location to the other. You are moving out from that particular association. That is what is called exit. Next is voice. Ability to discuss and deliberate about your problems is voice. It means you are showing your grievances and also discomfort open to the people. If exit and voice are together, that is what is going to repair various political institutions. So voice is kind of a feedback. So remember few points over here. Without any possibility of exit, voices remain unheard. And again, if exit is too easy, few will invest in voice. People want to exit rather than questioning it. Why to get into this hell? Why to get into this debate? I will just exit it. So let us take, if government schools are not good and private schools are available and certain sections of society, if they are affordable to those private schools, they will just exit the school and join over there. So the exit is very easy. Rather than raising the voice, they just choose an easy way out, that is called as exit. So in this context, my point is, if institutions need to progress, The criticism is kind of an oil, engine oil, that greases them towards flexibility. See carefully. If institutions do not evolve, they are expected to degenerate. An open criticism of an organization is an investment or invitation towards its evolution. So, the contempt of court as an instrument is actually stifling the criticism of judiciary, and judiciary is not in a position to understand its own weaknesses. So, every institution shall have a higher threshold for criticism. It shall invite the criticism. It is as valuable as feedback to the organization to renovate, to improvise, and to ensure its further growth. That is the essence of this article. The next is freedom and identity, the right to be. In nature, we are bound by one or the other law. What is this natural law? If you see any event or phenomenon that repeats itself is a law. Sun rises every day in the east. Sun rising in the east is a regular phenomenon which is law. And we all have to accept that natural phenomenon. So all of nature is nothing but expression of these laws. And so human nature is also guided by certain laws of nature. So our human nature have to be aligned with the nature of law. In this case, remember, we are going against to the nature of law. How we are a person who loves freedoms. As individuals who loves freedoms, we are expected to remain free. But however, we are being struck in kind of various choices, confusions, and lack of realizations. That is what this article is trying to explore over here. What author says is freedom is not just few economic choices or identity of self. So normally in market economy, what is freedom? Ability to buy the car of your choice, ability to buy the dress of your choice, and with no restrictions, you go and do the consumption. That is what is shown as freedom. Freedom cannot be restricted to the market definition of choice. Freedom is knowing about oneself. That's where they talk about Adi Atma. Adi plus Atma. Adi means awareness, Atma means self, awareness of self. So, living in the light of one's own self is true Swarajya. The Swarajya means self luminous existence, knowing about yourself, your existence. That is what is the real freedom. So, Atma keeps us away from the illusion that we are nothing but body and mind. So, what the author is trying to say is if our minds are liberated, then we can have the real freedoms. What can liberate our minds? That is good education. The word which he uses is Savidya e Vimuktaye. It means a great education can liberate the people's minds. A liberated mind is a free mind. That's how author is saying here. India is moving towards a form of elected autocracy. Remember, elected autocracy. It means that democracy is reduced to a narrow definition of elections, and the elected leadership, rather than working in democratic spirit, taking up an autocratic route. So, a democratic spirit means the leadership shall have respect for dialogue, deliberation, and rights of the people. So, the democracy is not that what happens once in 5 years. The democracy is what the spirit the leaders and people carry between these 5 years. And what aspects and principles the people are governed. That's what determines the substance of democracy. So, if I have to divide the democracy into substance and shell, or procedural democracy or substantive democracy, elections are related to procedural democracy. But protection of the rights of the people, engagement, participation, deliberation, all these come, accountability, all these come as part of substantive democracy. If there is no substantive democracy, just a procedural democracy, that what can be described as elected autocracy. In what context Justice Shah has used this elected autocracy? Today, many of the policies are formulated by the government with no consultation with legislature. National education policy and then dilution of the labor laws. Added to that, waiving the environmental laws, environmental impact assessment is about to be diluted. All these are happening with no due consultation. And the courts, which are meant to protect the rights of the citizens, they are keeping aloof. Let us put this way: the trifurcation of Kashmir issue and the Citizenship Amendment Act, electoral bonds, the Supreme Court is sitting on these matters rather than deciding them. With regard to internet usage in Kashmir, the Supreme Court, rather than making a decision, just gave that decision out to government committee itself. This all shows that the executive despotism is coming up on India. The legislature and judiciary that are supposed to act as a check and balance the power of the executive, they have become numb. That's what author is trying to say here. Justice A.P. Shah is trying to say. Coming to the COVID news, US FDA gave nod for a new test. It is saliva antigen test, which was developed by Yale University. It is claimed that it is more sensitive, accurate, and fast. The next is oil wreckage on Mauritius coast. 1,000 tons of oil is expected to have released onto the Mauritius coast after the ship MV Vokasio, the bulk carrier of the oil, got broken into parts on the coast. And Mauritius coast is known for coral reefs. It is expected to massively damage the coral reefs. Here, from the prelims perspective, you need to know how to manage oil wreckage and this particular what are the various bacteria, oil eating bacteria, this kind of data you need to have with you. And thank you very much. Have a great day.